Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'd firstly like to wish everybody a happy Chinese New Year. Hope you guys have an amazing day and a prosperous year, and hopefully you guys get to spend it with family and friends. If you don't worry, hopefully this video can cheer you up. I'd firstly like to also thank all of you guys for the love and support I got on my first episode. I'm glad to see that you guys enjoyed just as much as I did. And you guys give me a lot of suggestions and a lot of tips, which I will definitely implement into my videos, both in the filming and in the editing. Now we're gonna move quickly on to spinning the wheel. Just a heads up, the country that got replaced last time was obviously Turkey, because we finished the episode on Turkey, and it got replaced by Ethiopia. Now this one came from an Instagram reply. It was the first Instagram reply I've received. And every single week it's gonna be different. One day it could be Twitch chat, one day it could be a YouTube comment, one day it could be an Instagram story. You guys will never know. I wanna keep it fresh and exciting, so make sure you guys follow me on every single social media and on both my channels, plus Twitch. I'll link everything in the bio like usual. And yeah, let's not waste any more time, let's move on to the first spin. Alright guys, a different, I guess, location for the wheel spin. I'm kind of liking this new setup behind the alcohol cabinet. I kind of got to crouch down a little bit, but hey, you know, it's fine. It looks pretty at least. So we're going to give it a quick spin. Like you guys know, Ethiopia got replaced. Turkey got replaced by Ethiopia. So we're going to give a quick nation spin real quick. Alright, let's see what we get. Hopefully we get something fun. I mean, they're all pretty fun. It just depends on how well I do. Hopefully we get something exciting with a mix of a fair budget. Hopefully I'm not asking for too much. Alright, let's see what we get. I've got the list of every single country on my phone right here. Number 12. Oh, Maltese. Yeah. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. So this one I believe was submitted by Freya, which was my first donation on Twitch chat, which is why she gets to put an input onto the wheel. And I guess it's her lucky day because we spun Malta, so that's gonna be an interesting experience. I've had a little bit of experience with Maltese food, but obviously nothing too much to the level of being able to design something fresh. So I'm gonna have to put in some research. Anyways, I'll give you guys a quick cut. But before that, I need to spin for the budget. Completely forgot. I think this will make or break the recipe. Like I said, similar to the Turkish one, I'm hoping for a budget that's a little higher. Like the $15 was fine because I had a lot of things in my home. I'm not sure if I do for Maltese cooking, but that's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping for potentially something maybe in the 20s, 30s. Maybe I'm asking for a lot, but yeah, I just really want to make sure I nail it rather than give you guys something like not great. Anyways, let's give it a quick spin. I got the list right here. Let's see what we get. Number 10. Number 10 is $40. Interesting. Now that's gonna be interesting. $40 with Maltese food. I'll make sure I get the research done for you guys tonight. Film it tomorrow. I'll give you guys a cut right before I'm about to leave for the grocery shopping. Give you guys the usual rundown of everything I get. And look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Alright guys, we're back from the grocery store. Today, what I have for you is a recipe called brajoli. Now this is almost like a meat roulade, and we're gonna have beef strips on the outside with a pork minced filling. And we're gonna have it like indulged with a rich tomato red sauce. So in order to not bombard you with everything that we need for this recipe, I'm gonna segment it to what ingredients we need specifically for the sauce and what we need specifically for the roulade itself. But before that, I'm gonna give you guys a quick, simple overview so you guys get to see what I got. Alright guys, the quick rundown of everything we got. So firstly, we got some pork bacon. That's gonna be the inner layer between these two. We got pork minced, or grounded pork. We got our beef here. So here I use rump steak. You can use round eye if you want, or any form of, not necessarily that premium. Anything that's quite thin, ask the butcher to make it about a 1/4 inch, or if you want, that's about, I think, 0.7 centimeters. We got our potatoes, just any other standard normal golden potatoes. We have 2 onions. I think this is elephant garlic specifically, or just any form of garlic. We got our tomatoes, and we use rainbow carrots as well as our parsley we had from last episode. Now, most of these ingredients are somewhat premium. Naturally, because we have a higher budget, we were allowed to go for a little more premium stuff. And then for our red sauce, we're gonna indulge ourselves with a little bit of goudbouillon, which will also be used. That's probably something I'll have along with the meal. Anyways, I'll quickly jump into the pricing of everything. We got everything over here. And yeah, see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, now we're going to do the quick maths. We're going to make sure everything's fair, everything's calculated, everything's weighed out, and we're going to make sure we're below that $40 budget. And in order to not waste your precious time, because otherwise this is going to take probably 40 minutes, we're going to fast forward, make a time lapse so you guys get to, I guess, enjoy it in probably 30 seconds. See you guys in a bit. Alright guys, we just finished doing all the calculations. I'll put the exact calculations right here on the screen for you. We spent exactly $39.38. That means we have a little just under 60, over 60 cents to spare. Honestly, pretty good, pretty happy with what we got. And we're gonna be able to make use of most of our proteins. Of course, this allows me a little more room for error. I'll probably be making 3 to 4 roulades and presenting just probably 2. So realistically, you guys can cut this down to even around $30. If you even want to cut down on the wine and use, you know, any form, maybe like balsamic vinegar instead of the wine, that's another option for you. So there's a lot of different places you guys can cut down on this dish, and you could probably realistically easily make this within $15 to $20 if you use different carrots and all that. Anyways, now we're gonna quickly jump into the prep for our first part of the dish, which is the mixture. See you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so the quick rundown on what we need for our mixture. We're gonna be using 2 eggs, so you're gonna need to hard boil these. You're gonna be using bacon. We're gonna need to pan fry these and chop them up really finely. We got breadcrumbs, our pork mix, minced, apologies, our garlic, and our parsley. Now all of these are gonna be chopped, but I'm gonna set this going for 12 minutes, obviously starting on cold water, then boiling it up to heat. And once it's up to heat, leave it off for about 10 minutes and you should be able to have hard boiled eggs. And I'll set this going to save time and chop all these, and we'll get to it in a second. See you guys in a bit. Alright guys, we just finished cooking our bacon, a nice shallow fry. And the eggs are just about to finish, but while that's gonna finish up, I'm gonna get started on the parsley. I'm gonna chop it nice and fine. And the garlic, you want about 3 cloves, nicely minced. So I'm gonna get started on that. I'm probably gonna do another time lapse right before we get into putting everything together. See you guys in a bit. Alright everyone, we're done the prep work, so we're gonna quickly move on to the mixture itself. I'm gonna show the camera the prep work. So we got chopped bacon, chopped parsley, a little closer, chopped bacon, chopped parsley, chopped garlic, and here we have our diced egg. I'm not sure what dropped, we're just gonna ignore that. So what I did simply was, instead of using 3 cloves that I was supposed to within my budget, these are quite big cloves, I just used 2. The bacon, honestly, just loosely cut it, not a big hassle. Parsley, same, as long as it's somewhat fine, it's not too bad. Eggs, simple dice, and we'll be good. Alright, for the mixture, we're gonna put our pork mince at the bottom, just so it's easier to see everything on top. I'm gonna use our weighed out portion, which I don't remember exactly, I'll put it on the screen somewhere here. Yeah, okay. Gonna put this to the side. We got our pork mixture. I'm just gonna loosen it up a bit because it was cold, right? So naturally, it's gonna be one big chunky piece. We're gonna put everything in. So we're gonna put eggs. I'll just put it to one side, each individual ingredient, just so it's prettier to see. Eggs right here. This right now. I'm gonna move into our chopped ingredients right here. We're gonna put bacon on one side. Like, I would suggest potentially chopping the bacon even a little more finely than I did. I just didn't have much patience after having gone through 4 different ingredients. So it's quite roughly chopped. If you can go a little more fine, then that would be perfect. I'm gonna put my parsley on one side right here. I'll put the exact weighting measurements out on the side of the screen so you guys know exactly how much I used for each ingredient if you want the perfect balance. Now we're done with the chopping board. I'm gonna move on to our breadcrumbs. Grab that down real quick. Our breadcrumbs, we're gonna use half a cup with the amount of ingredients we have, half a cup should be perfect. Then again, after you mix, if you want to readjust with readjust the amounts in order to make it the consistency you want, then honestly feel free to. But then again, it's all about preference. I'm sorry for your ears. Alright. I'm probably gonna cut that part out. If I don't, well, you're welcome. Alright, half a cup of breadcrumbs. Right over here. There we go. Right there. It's gonna be a really pretty mix. Let's see, I'll flip for a second so nothing comes out. And before I season, I'm gonna quickly show the camera. You guys can see parsley, bacon, pork obviously at the bottom, garlic, breadcrumbs, and egg. Super nice mix. Looks great. I hope it's gonna taste great. So we're gonna season it real quick. We're gonna use grounded pepper, nice and simple. This is honestly up to taste. So depending on if you like pepper or not, you can skip this part. Salt, probably a similar amount. Remember that all this is up to taste. Now we're just gonna mix everything together. Everything's nicely seasoned. If you want to readjust later, feel free to. If you guys want to add a different hint of spice or something like that, feel free to, but I am going to keep it as traditional as possible. That's my goal in every single video. So, wash your hands. I already did that before. And we're going to mix everything. I'd suggest probably just going straight in with your hands. But in order for me just to get it started a little bit at the start, I'm going to use a spoon. I'm going to fast forward this part, otherwise it's going to take forever. See you guys in a bit. Alright, so our mixture is done. One solid mixture. This took probably around 2 minutes, nothing too special. You know, once it's nicely formed into one, almost like patty-like, you should be good to go. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab our thin slices of rum. We're gonna put mixture on one side, and we're just gonna roll it, and we're gonna use toothpicks to essentially make sure everything stays intact. Like in other traditional roulades, I would use cling film and maybe freeze it overnight, but traditionally in Maltese cooking you just use toothpicks and you go straight into the pan. So honestly, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try it, hopefully they stick. If they don't, I don't know. If they don't, they don't. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I'm gonna do all of them. Although I'm not going to count them in budget, I'll leave some probably left over for like tomorrow or after tomorrow, something like that. But I'll do all of them and I'll pick out the prettiest one for the video. Alright, so our first one's done. Still holding its shape for now. We're gonna just leave it. And I feel like they're almost a little too large, but I guess they'll take up more like position on the plate. Alright everyone, we finished rolling our braciolis. And I'm gonna pick out the 3 to 4 most uniform ones in order for, you know, to make it look better on the plate. It's probably gonna be the smaller ones, although the big ones actually look pretty good. They're holding their shape well. I just think they're gonna... Actually, honestly, you know what? They're probably gonna shrink in size when I'm gonna cook them. So we'll see afterwards which ones I wanna use. I'm probably not gonna cook all of them off at the same time because we're using a single pot here, which is currently heating up olive oil. But yeah, so the next important step is to use a single pot because you wanna build up the different layers of flavor. I'm gonna use this to sear off the meat. I'm gonna take the meat off it. I'm gonna dice some onions, put that in, throw it in with my carrots, my rainbow carrots, and then I'm gonna throw in our potatoes on the side. I'll do a different segment of the video for that because those need to be thinly sliced and oven baked. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I will give you guys a quick rundown of when I'm searing everything. Alright, before we jump into searing our braciolis, we're gonna prepare the potatoes. So we're gonna need somewhat deep dish. Luckily I have one perfectly right there. We're gonna thinly slice our potatoes. The ends, just keep them on, but probably a 1/4 inch. So a 1/4 inch is about 0.8 centimeters. Just thin enough so that you get a nice texture, probably about this thin. And try to keep them somewhat uniform. We're gonna make sure we layer everything well. We're also gonna prepare half onion, maybe a quarter onion, in full strips to essentially dangle between the layers. That'll give us more texture in our potatoes. And then we're gonna use the other onions within our sauce. So make sure you leave some to the side. I'm gonna once again time lapse this part so that you guys can see the whole experience in a faster manner. Alright, so we just finished slicing our potatoes. We have our onions sliced as well. Now you can keep them long because these will naturally shrink anyways. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna create our seasoning base. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab a couple fennel seeds. I have a pestle and mortar. I definitely recommend one of these in your kitchen. Super useful to have. And allows you to grind up spices more finely and actually better than like if you were to use a knife. So fennel seeds in. We're gonna use a little bit of salt into the pestle and mortar. Right over here. Should be fine. We're gonna do pepper, again, optional, up to taste. Remember, you guys can obviously change this up a little bit if you wanna season it differently, if you want a little more like a touch of spice, use Cajun or paprika or something like that. But once again, I'm keeping it as traditional as possible. We're gonna take our mortar right here, and I believe it's this side up. Yep, we're gonna grind everything until the seeds are somewhat a little bit crushed. Wow, the aroma this creates is honestly really, really good. And these are gonna make the potatoes smell really good. On the side, I'm also preheating the oven at 160 degrees Celsius or about 375 or 360 Fahrenheit. It's give or take plus minus 10. You guys gotta check the numbers on that. I completely forgot the conversion rate. But yeah, that's for about an hour long in the oven. If I wanna stretch it a little shorter, because my sauce takes about 30 minutes. I should have done this earlier, but I completely forgot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna potentially leave it to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes, and hopefully these will allow them to brown nicely and also not like burn them at the same time. I'll give a quick check maybe every 15 to 20 minutes and maybe flip them occasionally, because remember, we're not gonna serve this in one platter, so it doesn't matter if the shape's intact. Rather, they're gonna be an element onto our dish. All right, now that our seasoning blend is nicely grounded, I'm gonna grab a little bit with my fingers right here. I'm gonna go quick initial spread all over the place. And then I'm gonna go with our olive oil right over here. Same thing, a small drizzle over everything. Make sure everything is somewhat a little bit coated, not too much, just a small drizzle. Okay, like that, perfect. If you guys want to give this a toss, feel free to. I will then go back to my seasoning, put the remainder of my seasoning onto these gorgeous golden potatoes. Alright, for the vegetables. Quickly, I'm gonna give you guys a rundown of everything we gotta do. We got 2 onions. So for these, well, 1 onion and a half. For these, what we're gonna do is we're gonna dice them. Dice them nice and easy, nice and thin. They're gonna sweat in the pan, so it doesn't matter how chunky they are. Preferably not too chunky, because remember, this is part of the sauce. And I'll make sure to put everything you need for this specific sauce right over here, so you guys get the full rundown of everything in the sauce. Yeah, so, and then garlic, we don't necessarily need to use that much, probably just 1 more clove. This is again to create a richer aroma in our sauce. Tomatoes, we're gonna dice them. We're gonna put them in a bowl, so you really want to retain that sauce, that juice, because that tomato juice is also gonna create, like, make the sauce less chunky and more like liquidy. For our carrots, we're gonna peel them, wash them, then peel them, and we're gonna cube them. Again, bigger probably than the onions, because you guys want to get this different texture in our sauce. I'm gonna prepare everything here. I'm gonna quickly cut. You guys, when you're back, it's all gonna be done. See everybody in a bit. Alright, so our potatoes are still in the oven. There's still about 25 minutes left on them. We finished cutting up our carrots. Bring the carrots right over here. Dice our onions, not tomatoes. Tomatoes right over here. And so the next... Okay, sorry, my Fitbit's going crazy. The next step is we're gonna season this real quick. We're gonna use salt and pepper. Just lightly all around. There you go, just like that. I would season both sides, but naturally we already have the bacon fat from earlier and the olive oil in the bottom, so any seasoning that's at the bottom side is just gonna be washed off anyways. So there's no real point. My oil is currently well, no, it's heating up at about a medium high. You can get that nice initial sear. So the goal is to sear these off real quick, probably 30 seconds on each side. Put them into a different plate, or if you don't have, just use another pan or sheet. Put that to the side, and then we're gonna sweat the onions down for about 5 minutes. Once we have that going for about 5 minutes, we're gonna throw in our carrots, leave those probably around 10 minutes to they slightly soften, and like the middle is still a little crunchy. After that, we're gonna throw in our tomatoes. Now, tomatoes are fresh, right? They're not canned. You can use canned tomatoes if you want. If you use canned chopped tomatoes or canned purees, you can probably put them at the same time as the carrots. But because I'm using fresh ones, I don't want them to go like super soft and mushy instantly. So I want to save this to the end for the last 5-10 minutes. We're gonna also throw in some tomato paste so we get a richer and more, I guess, flavorful red sauce. Bay leaf is probably ready to go in. We're gonna throw in probably 3 to 4 bay leaves, and this will really give our oil a richer aroma. Throw this in right now. Nice and easy, you don't have to do anything else to it. Allow your oil to perfume, give it about maybe 30 seconds, and then we're gonna jump into searing this. Catch you all in a bit. Alright, apologies for the loud noise, but we're currently searing this off. I'm gonna flip them real quick. Gonna go 4 at a time, and I'll give you guys a cut and show you everything when it's done. I apologize again for the noise, but I can't do much with this oil, so yep, I'll cut, and I'll see everybody in a bit. Alright, so we're just about finishing our second batch. Like you guys can see, it's not too bad, not too heavy of a sear, nice and light. I honestly think it's kind of hard to get a full sear because of the toothpicks, but I will definitely retouch on them before I put them into sauce. I might get another pan going so it's easier to get a solid color throughout. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this effect. You're going to get one straight line with some toothpicks and one on each side. And then that's going to be all this, like I guess, residue, like all the meat that's getting stuck and all the juices that's getting stuck at the bottom of the pan. We're just going to deglaze it with red wine, and it's going to be honestly an amazing flavor. So don't worry about if stuff like, for example, the bay leaf and all that are getting a little too overcooked underneath. The red wine's going to really help deglaze everything off the pan. Once again, cut once we get started with the sauce. Alright everybody, so our brogiolis have just finished searing. Now we're just going to sweat down a couple onions right over here, nice and simple, making sure we allow every single piece of onion to touch the bottom, and this is gonna really turn that onion from a quite strong flavor to a nice sweet mild flavor. Give this about probably 5 minutes, and then once this is done, you will throw in the red wine to deglaze everything at the bottom. Alright, so after that the wine has reduced a bit and really scraped everything off the bottom, we're gonna throw in our carrots. I'm gonna let these cook out for maybe another 10 minutes, so I'm probably gonna give 4 minutes for the potatoes, which I'll give you guys a sneak peek. Look absolutely gorgeous. Oh, the camera just nearly died from that. Give it 10 minutes, and then we're gonna add our freshly chopped tomatoes with our white wine, not white wine, but red wine, and that's gonna give us a more saucy base to our beautiful red sauce. Alright, catch everybody in a bit. Carrot have nicely browned. We're gonna add the cup of red wine. So yes, you're gonna have to restock a little bit, but this is gonna give you the base of your sauce. Now, I should have probably turned on the ventilation for this, but I kind of want you guys to hear me. So I'm going to throw in the tomatoes too. It's going to create a nice juicy sauce. That's all the tomatoes right there. And then what we're going to do, give this a stir, not a spur. And if you think that it's not liquid enough, maybe add a touch of water or a touch of stock if you want. If you have stock. If you don't, you can either add a little bit of red wine, but hopefully these tomatoes, once they start cooking through, to create a nice water base. Now we're going to cook this for about 10 more minutes, and once it starts to really cook through these tomatoes, we're going to then turn it down, and we're going to throw in our brogiolis. We're going to let it simmer for about an hour, preferably an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, depends on how rushed you are. Remember, the longer this takes, the more flavor you're developing. I completely forgot to update everybody. The potatoes look absolutely amazing. They are cooked throughout. I might throw them in for the last 10-15 minutes at a more like broiling heat so that they can reheat themselves, because our sauce, obviously our timing wasn't exactly perfect, because this is again the first time ever making it. But yeah, these look pretty good. Nice color that you want on it. And we're going to use the tomato paste, and I'm going to quickly, so this was the extra mince that I had pork. We're just having it as a snack. I'm going to add a little bit of tomato puree just so we get a richer flavor. A little bit everywhere. Once that's done, give that a quick stir. Give that a quick stir. Should cool things down a little bit. And once this is brought back to a boil, you want to just reduce the heat and let it simmer. We managed to fit everything at a similar level. Super happy. We're gonna let this sit for about an hour. I'm gonna quickly set the timer. Put that down for about 60 minutes. And then we just let it do its thing. Leave it on low, put the lid on, let it simmer away. We'll catch everybody in an hour. Everybody, raviolis are done. They look absolutely stunning. Our sauce here, it looks absolutely great. It smells amazing. Potatoes are done, and now we're gonna get started on the plating. I'm gonna switch back to the main camera. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, hey everybody, I just realized I completely forgot to film me trying the dish. It was so late last night, I apologize. I'll give you guys a quick recap. The whole entire experience was really great. The meat was really tender, slightly dry, but that was because I probably seared it for a little too long. Other than that, I definitely recommend it. And for this week, for the next country that we're gonna have on our wheel, I want to see the most liked comment is the one I'm gonna use. And it's gonna be the one that's gonna replace Malta. So make sure you guys leave all those comments and make sure you guys go like the individual comments that you guys wanna see in the next potential episode. Anyways, lots of love for everybody out there. Hope everybody's doing well. Peace out.